We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before you're bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Get out of here, man.
What is going on, gentlemen? I feel like we got to get the elephant out of the room. This is a gambling podcast. We pride on ourselves on educating the masses. And last week, we might have failed some people. Producer Derek, do you want to go ahead and throw up that? Good God.
Look at that big fat zero.
This is, normally would brag when I do the best, but I can't even do that in this instance. I can't pat myself on the back for going 2-3 and being the best. But here we are. But it's early. It's early in the season. I'm going to pull an Aaron Rodgers and tell myself and all of you to RELAX, relax. I'm not going to go all Tim Tebow and say, I promise you one thing. A lot of good will come out of this. We're just going to move forward. And we're going to move forward like we always do. And we're going to jump into the games.
That's so much better than your I quit at football, I hate life text we've been getting the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, my bank account sure probably hopes I do that. But we're making it all up today. And it starts with, a potential AFC championship game with Chargers at Chiefs. Marcus, how you seeing this game going?
I'm loving this one. Obviously, these are two teams that really let me down last week. Both blew opportunities to win and blew opportunities for me to make some good money. But yeah, just like you said, AFC championship, which there's a lot of that going on this week. Great fucking slate from top to bottom. You guys know I love my darling Chargers. This line has moved to 7. So it's easy to get them a 7 plus 7.5. It's almost impossible for me to see this game being more than a touchdown. I don't know how you don't jump on this. I really like the under. It should go over, so take the under, but lock in the Chargers plus the points. And if you like a underdog parlay, they should be at the head of the pack.
Man, so my thing here, Marcus, is I haven't loved the Chargers' scoring totals. The offensive numbers have been great. But my thing is, I think Kansas City is going to come out pissed off. I know there really is no data to say there's a bounce back game or whatever because every game is virtually the same. But I see Kansas City just kind of laying the hammer, and I feel bad for the Chargers in this game. But I do think it's going to be a fantasy and a prop dream. That is why I'm hammering some overs. I got Tyreek over 6.5 receptions, mostly because the number ones in Washington and Dallas raked. So I'm taking Tyreek over 6.5 receptions, and Herbert's averaging 343 yards. Kansas City secondary is nothing to write home about, even with the Honey Badger. So I'm taking Herbert over 302 yards. That was a lower yards total than I would have liked. So those are my two props. We're split on this game. JC and I are riding KC. Producer Derek and you, Marcus, you're taking the Chargers. JC, how is the Chiefs going to win this game? And what players are going to get them to do it?
Well, I'm hoping, and I think we want this game to be what the NFL wants this game to be, is very close to that Rams-Chief game that was 54-51. I think it's possible. And I think a big thing in this game is going to be positive regression for me, both from the Chiefs side of things and the LA side of things. So I think I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire today. I do think he gets in the end zone and gets a touchdown. A guy like McCole Hardman got 8 targets last week, 5 for 55.
You think that's sustainable? You think he's solidified as number 2 in both positionally and volume-wise?
I think he's just the most exciting, especially from a DFS standpoint, because he's fastest. He's at 3,900. He does get those targets when they seep off from Hill. And the Chargers may want to go that same route in doubling Hill all day, which will leave him wide open. On the Chargers side of things, I think this is kind of, like I said, positive regression. Herbert only has 2 touchdowns on the year with 3 interceptions. We need more from him. We saw Eckler with 9 receptions last week, some vintage Eckler. And then Keenan Allen, no touchdowns on the year either, but over 100 yards at each game. So I like him. I think Jared Cook, as we all know, we talk about it almost every week. Streaming tight ends against Kansas City is usually a pretty good play. So Jared Cook have a good day as well.
Absolutely. We love some tight ends. I went so tight end heavy that I didn't want to litter the sheet with tight ends like I did last week. But you're absolutely right. Tight end is always a play against Kansas City. Now we're moving on to Marcus's other team, the Indianapolis Colts, at the Tennessee Titans, -5.5, over under 47.5. We all like Tennessee except for Marcus. So, Marcus, what are you seeing with Carson Wentz and the Colts that you think they can cover 5.5?
I'm really seeing nothing. This is one of the games. This was like the hardest one for us to pick on which games. The Colts very well might be the team I just don't know how to bet. I'm 0-2 betting with or against them, obviously with the Rams and the Seahawks. The Titans, I know the Titans. I'm 2-0. I had the Cardinals rolling them opening week, and I had them covering against the Seahawks. It's just that simple. The public loves the Titans. I love the Colts. I'm really torn on the over-under, but when in doubt, fire the over. Colts cover with ease.
Yeah, I love the over because the Colts defense hasn't been the Colts defense, and Tennessee has not fixed things. But the over, again, like I said, that's the play for sure. I like Taylor in this game. He's really turned into the bell cow there. He hasn't rushed under 15 attempts yet, and that for some reason that number is still. So I'm hammering Taylor rushing attempts. And then, again, kind of to JC's point, I like Tannehill over 1.5 touchdowns because the Colts have given up 6 passing touchdowns as compared to 1 rushing touchdown. So I like Tannehill and some play actions in the red zone. What do you think about that, JC?
Yeah, I like Tannehill today too. And I want to like the Colts a lot. They have some of my favorite players, but I think this is a nice get-right game for Tennessee. I think Tannehill goes off. I think A.J. Brown has a really nice game today. I don't know about Derrick Henry. The Colts defense, like he said, hasn't been fantastic, but they do have a good defensive line. So I think that might
They're not giving rushing touchdowns. Like, they're getting gashed for yards, but they're not giving up scores.
Yeah, and Henry got 3 last week, so he doesn't really need any, help in that category. But I do like Jonathan Taylor. He's not getting a ton of carries, but today could be where they lean on him a bunch. He should have a good day regardless of game script. And I am excited about Paris Campbell making his debut. Last year, he's supposed to break out, had 9 targets and like 8 receptions in the first half before he blew out his Achilles. Hope he comes back well today. He's at 3,300. Sprinkle him in there a little bit.
Yeah, I know it's music to my ears that you think A.J. Brown's going to have a good day. I know it's music to Derek's ears that Jonathan Taylor's going to have a good day, especially with Dalvin Cook being out. We'll get to that later. But here is, again, another potential NFC Championship game. It's my NFC Championship game. Tampa at Los Angeles. This line has went all over the place, from LA being the favorite to now Tampa being the favorite. 55.5 points is a ton of points, but for some reason, I still don't think it's enough. We're the only one taking Tampa Bay is JC, and I'm sure he'll get into that here in a second. But Marcus, how do you see this game playing out?
This is a game, obviously, that could go either way as far as who wins. We're looking at 2 of probably the best teams in the NFL, but neither team has put 4 quarters together. And don't be fooled by the 24-point win, I think it was, against the Falcons last week. We had 2 late pick sixes, which was great for DFS, but the Bucs haven't had a pass rush, and the Bucs are really weak in the secondary. And honestly, the simplest way to put this is 55.5. That's too many points. Now it's up to 56. So everyone loves the over and everyone loves the Bucs. And this is definitely one that I'm happy to be on the other side. As Derek and you guys talked about earlier, Tom Brady's struggled when there's inside pressure. And guess who's coming today? Oh, big old 99. Bucs are going to struggle. It's going to be a great defensive battle. I think this game ends up being. Did
you see Aaron Donald dominate Quentin Nelson last week? Like,
who doesn't he dominate?
Oh my God!
This game is going to be kind of weirdly comparable to the NFC Championship when the Bucs and the greatest show on turf faced each other. It's going to be a low scoring battle. Maybe not quite. This should be in the low 40s by game, low mid 40s. But Rams, baby, take Rams.
Oh wow! That's I think I like the under as well, but I think it'll be probably 52, maybe even 54. I think it's a dang good over under line. I'm personally staying away from this game because again, I could see this playing out in like 1,000 different scenarios. But Marcus says, "Give me 2 props," so I got to give you 2 props. I do like Robert Woods a lot. I'll be curious if JC sees the same. I like him over 63.5 yards. And then I like Gronk over 3.5 receptions. He has 12 on the year, and the Rams have given up 10 receptions for 100+ yards. So I like Gronk and Robert Woods. What say you, JC?
Yeah, I'm with you on Robert Woods. I'm not sure on Gronk. Gronk's 5,500, which makes him a little bit expensive and tough to play today. But I think the Rams are going to be a team that a lot of people are going to stack this week. Stafford's a very popular play, so he's going to have high ownership. But I think I prefer Robert Woods to Cooper Kupp. One of the things we did last year as well as play wide receivers against Jamel Dean. The number 2 against Tampa Bay has been profitable. Woods needs a get-right game as well, so I'm with you there. Kupp should be fine for season-long leagues. But on the Tampa side, it's tough. I don't think Evans has a good game. I think it's more of a Godwin game this week. Obviously, Antonio Brown's not going to be there. So curious to see who's going to slide into that slot role. Last year it was Scotty Miller, so just a guy I kind of want to watch more than I really want to play. But it's going to be interesting to kind of fill and see where those targets go for Tom Brady.
So I mentioned injuries at the onset of the show. How does the Darrell Henderson situation play? Are you playing Sony Michel or is that a stay away situation?
Staying far away because the Bucs still have a good run defense. It's going to be a tough matchup whether Henderson is in there anyway. I wouldn't play him if he were healthy, but I'm hoping Jake Funk gets some run.
Yeah, we're all hoping for some funk. That's for sure. Now we're going to Green Bay at San Francisco. This isn't Brett Favre, Steve Young anymore, but there is still some juice to this rivalry. Again, Marcus seems to be on the opposite of a lot of these. So Marcus either going to look like the genius or he could go 0-5 again. It could be one of those. We are all on Green Bay. Marcus, you're on San Francisco. Tell us why.
Honestly, I would love that half point. I would love it right now. But I'll probably love it tonight. But you guys have to remember, the Niners rolled the Packers in the playoffs, and it wasn't too long ago. I know that everyone thinks that everything's fixed in Green Bay after the win against the Lions, but the Lions aren't that good of a team. The Niners thumped them too. It's just not a great matchup for Green Bay. They're going to have to be a lot better up front. Niners have their weaknesses, but they're going to show why they didn't move for Aaron Rodgers. Niners will win tonight.
Niners will win. Okay. Do you have any guys that'll get them there? I know that's normally a me and JC thing. But Marcus, do you have any guys that you like for San Francisco?
I think it's going to be a collective ugly effort. No one that's going to have like a big fantasy day, but I think that they are going to feast on the Packers missing Bakhtiari. This is going to be a game where him not being on the field is going to be very prevalent. And I think the right tackle just became doubtful for the game tonight too. So that's going to be a lot of pressure on coming against the Packers from the 49ers, who have spent a lot of draft capital in the last 8 years and on that front line.
Yep. For me, this was tough coming up with props too. I kind of set you up for failure there because I wanted that answer more than anything because I had a hard time coming up with it. But I'm taking 2+ money plays. If you don't find something you love, take something with better odds, which is what I did in this game. Green Bay has given up 3 tight end touchdowns in 2 weeks. So give me Kittle plus 125 anytime touchdown for that. And then San Francisco is kind of a stat of the weird here. San Francisco has given up 20+ receptions to running backs so far. So give me Aaron Jones at over 4.5 receptions. He's been right around that 3-4 receptions, so he actually hasn't surpassed that. But San Francisco giving up dump offs is just kind of a trend that I saw that I'm going to ride with plus money. What about you, JC? Do you have any guys in this game, or are you kind of with Marcus that this is going to be a spread out ugly game?
Well, yeah. So this isn't on the main slate. This is going to be, a showdown captain play. So I'm not super in on this game. I'm with you with George Kittle, though. We talked about a couple of guys today. That positive touchdown regression. No touchdowns yet for Kittle. I like him to get that today. I like to see Robert Tonyan do pretty well today. But I'm really hoping to see Ayuk get back into play with San Francisco.
He's been a ghost, man. I know we were talking about him a lot before the season. I know Derek has got him on his bench, wanting him to do something. But yeah, I think we're all looking for something out of Ayuk.
Yeah, in the doghouse. I don't know. Hope he gets out.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Monday night game, which I absolutely hate when we're all on one side of it, especially when we're all on the Dallas side of things. Philly at Dallas, -4, over under 51.5. How are we choosing Dallas, Marcus? Like, are we crazy? Because this is just setting up for an epic letdown game by the.
Well, we've talked about the Cowboys a lot earlier this year. I've been kind of on that horse in the offseason, and I like what I see. And surprisingly, I like what I see out of Philly too. This game's going to be a win-win for me. Really, only if there's going to be a lot of points, which we're anticipating. But if Cowboys win and cover, then we're geniuses. If Philly wins and or covers, well, you're my boy Jalen Hurts. Yeah, the Cowboys going to roll. They're a great team. They'll figure out some pieces on the defense. They have the players, but not collectively there yet. And just take the Cowboys. They're going to win the East. It's a no-brainer.
So. Again, we have it in the title. Unders are for pussies, right? I'm finally taking an under. I don't know if anyone's ever caught on to this, but I'm always over. Zeke's got me a little worried. And if any of you are Zeke fantasy owners, the Tony Pollard experiment is scaring me. And how quickly Dallas abandons the run scares me, because they seem to go to that pretty quickly. So I'm taking Zeke under 65.5 yards. And maybe a little bit of a selfish play, because I've been hyping Devonta Smith kind of all offseason, and he did have a great week 1, and then he regressed a little bit in week 2. But I like a Devonta Smith kind of bounce back game. I'm riding his yards and receptions. If you made me choose one, I'm taking the receptions, just because of the amount of targets he's got in the first 2 games. But I love Devonta Smith in this game. What about you, JC?
Apologize, guys. Fighting my cat over here. He's being a real asshole. Anyway, I do like Devontae Smith. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. So it should be a good Monday night affair for us. I like Devontae Smith. I like to see Jalen Reagor get a lot of targets as well. Don't love the tight end situation in Philadelphia. But I don't think we're crazy to take Dallas. They're just a better football team than the Eagles are. I don't believe in the Eagles as of yet. And we should be worried about Tony Pollard. He looks better. But if Zeke is going to have a get-right game, which has been a theme this week, it could be this week, and it needs to be.
Oh, so you think Zeke does bounce back?
I hope he does. He's a great buy low for dynasty leagues and in season-long leagues. I think it's a good week to trade for him today, but it could go either way. I don't know. We should be worried about Tony Pollard. I'm just waiting to see how it goes.
There we go. So, again, that's our official picks. It's a tough slate, mostly because there's some great matchups. Every game we just rattled off is some sort of rivalry, is a lot of big name players. Again, those are our picks, but there are a few other games that I think we like a little bit more. Games that seem to be a little bit more predictable and a little bit more profitable. That first game being the Washington football team at Buffalo. Marcus, any comments on this game?
Yeah, real quick, Buffalo's playing really well. Washington is just super weird. It isn't as elite as everyone thought it would. And the only streak that will be 100% is Chase Young's no sack streak. He will go one more game without having a sack, and I'll get to laugh at the likes of Steve and any other Ohio State fan who called him the GOAT. Can't pick him at 2.
Oh man, I have a bet with our fearless leader, Drew, that he is going to make more Pro Bowls than Joe Burrow. So I'm unfortunately tied to the Chase Young bandwagon. One bandwagon I'm not jumping on though is the Taylor Heineke. I know everyone is loving him. But so's Vegas. His totals and touchdowns and in yards are crazy high. I went with the under with Heineke in yards last Thursday. That was a loss, but I'm hoping to get that money back. I'm taking Taylor Heineke under 232.5, mostly because the Bills haven't given up a 200-yard passer yet. And then I'm going with it seems to be this year's vulture, Zach Moss. I can get him at almost 3-1 for anytime touchdown. Give me that guy because he gets almost all of the run there towards the goal line. JC, any players in this one?
It's kind of a tough fantasy game. You can stick to your studs here. In terms of Taylor Heineke, though, we don't need him to be great, but he's good enough. He's not worse. He's not missing a beat from Ryan Fitzpatrick, so that offense should be fine. I think this could be a pretty good game. I love actually watching the football team +7 today. I mean, the Bills haven't given up a 200-yard passer, but they played Ben Roethlisberger and Tua Tagovailoa, and then he got hurt. So that stat is a little bit rough for me. I think Heineke's going to be fine. I think the Washington football offense is going to be just fine as well.
Got it. Yep. So, again, I can't wait to tell you wrong. We don't have a bet for this game. You guys notice I'm not wearing sunglasses. I didn't lose a bet to JC this week, but, it's still early.
It's because he didn't make one.
I was going to leave that part out. Next game, Chicago at Cleveland. I know Marcus wants to talk Justin Fields. What's going on?
Wait, Justin Fields? Are you talking about the guy who should be Rookie of the Year? Listen, he came in. I called that game almost to a T. It was bitter. It was very nice. Maybe a little bittersweet. How Dalton went down, I predicted a little bit different. But fact of the matter is, we got the win. Justin Fields came out. Now he gets a whole week to prepare for the Browns. We'd love to see him go into the mistake on the lake and take the W, which is another team that should be in your underdog parlay. Great value, but I like the over here of 24-21. Anybody that wins.
About time you get an over, man. I'm sick and tired of your unders.
I've got a few overs, but I really like the over here. But I love the Bears +7.5. The Browns haven't finished anywhere yet. They're 0-2 against our 1-1 against the spread, but they couldn't finish a win against the Chiefs. And fortunately, they didn't cover, and it went over against the Texans, which will happen again here in Week 3.
Yeah, I mean, Fields will be the better quarterback in this game. I love all the Fields prop bets. The one I like the most is the 53.5 rushing yards. He has shown that he is very open to getting out of the pocket and running. Another guy that I saw all over a ton of playing cards, JC, was Kareem Hunt. Him and CEH sort of seemed like the flavor of the week. I'm hitting his over 9.5 rushing attempts since he ran for 15 last week. But do you like Kareem Hunt?
He's a tough guy. He's always, a little bit better value than Chubb. I don't know. I always stay away from Kareem Hunt for better and for worse whenever it happens. So not so much for me. I'm curious to see how that offense plays out with OBJ coming back and then Jarvis Landry being out this week. I think the tight ends could get a lot of run like they did last week. And your boy, Brandon, I'm curious to see what Demetric Felton's role is going to be this week. So I'm kind of staying off Cleveland for the most part. I do have OBJ running in a lineup or two. And then the Chicago offense, you kind of play Field. We don't know how he's going to distribute the ball. So I think you have to stay off of Allen Robinson this week and just kind of let Fields do his thing. But I definitely like the over 53.5 rushing yards.
Yep. Marcus, for some reason, wants to talk Atlanta G-Men. So I'm going to let you do it and not waste any of my time on it because that's a game that I hope I don't see a single second of.
Just take the Falcons +3.5 and over 47.5. Just keep it real simple. Weird points, weird places. I know everyone's going to be loving a receiver we're going to talk about in Derek Diggs here shortly, but Kyle Pitts gets his first touchdown. Kyle Pitts has a massive day today, and kind of like to see Saquon Barkley have a productive evening as well.
Yep. Anything here, JC?
I think Saquon's going to have another get right game this week. And then maybe a get back game is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a hot streamer. That feels really dangerous. He hasn't had a lot of interceptions or turnovers. I think he has a few today.
Yeah. Again, DraftKings has gotten rid of their defensive sacks and interceptions. But I would love to, if you could find those props anywhere, hammer whoever Daniel Jones is playing, because he gives up a lot. It's we're all Steeler fans, so I think we briefly have to touch on this game. Kind of hard to know which direction it's going to go, but I mean, it's Cincinnati. The Steelers own Cincinnati. It's a win, right, boys?
Yeah, fuck you, Steve. Here, it's just that simple. When the Steelers are not expected to win, Mike Tomlin has his team somewhat prepared to play football. Whenever everyone expects the Steelers to roll, he takes the week off and he's praised for it. It's all in the grand scheme. It's his plot just to get love and attention, but Steelers come out victorious and they do it in ugly fashion.
Yeah,
I think it all hinges on Watt for me. If he can't play, or if he gets pulled in the first quarter, if we can't get the quarterback, is he out? I thought he's still questionable.
Nope.
No, he's done. And then Highsmith.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good about this one, boys. I'm gonna be honest with you. So they'll probably win by like 2 touchdowns.
So what I am feeling good about is my prop of the week. We haven't covered injuries as much, but I have brought it up a few times. With Dalvin out, I think Jefferson eats. He did amazing at home games last year. The Seahawks give 1 million yards up to wide receivers. His total is only 77.5. It is by far my play of the day, whether it is an over-under, a line. Jefferson over 77.5 yards. You guys feeling me there?
I'm feeling him for first touchdown. He's due for a breakout game. He's been underwhelming thus far. So, yeah, I'm with you. Seattle's defense is trash. Let's get JJ in the zone, baby.
Yep. Last but certainly not least, producer Derek's Diggs. In daily fantasy, he loves Sterling Shepard. Any comments there, JC?
Yeah, I think it's a decent play. He's got a lot of targets, and it could certainly go the other direction like we talked about. But, yeah, he's not bad. I have him in a couple lineups.
Yep. He's also hammering Madison. JC, you said that number has skyrocketed, but if you were a little bit of a Nostradamus and lock that in at 5,200, you're probably going to have a really great DFS day. And then a prop that I can't believe I didn't find. Derek, great grab on this. I think the Cardinals are going to murder the Jags, and he found Rondale Moore and A.J. Green plus 700 to both score. That's 8-1 in a game that is going to have a lot of points. So absolutely love that. Marcus, what do you think of your Cardinals in Jacksonville today?
Oh, they're gonna shit stomp them. Cardinals are gonna if the Bucs don't play the Rams in the NFC Championship, it's gonna be the Cardinals. Cardinals by 100 today, and hopefully we'll see DeAndre Hopkins get in for the first titty of the day, baby.
Yeah, you were. It looks like you were a year off with the Cardinals, at least through 2 weeks. Let's overreact and say this is the Cardinals' year, because why not?
Coach of the year, guys. Baby.
All right. Well, here we go, Steelers. Let's go make some money. Until next week, everyone, have a great time. See ya.